after. So good morning, everybody. This is Michelle Landsberg, Director of Advanced Thief River. Welcome. We're glad to have you on the call this morning. We have developments in this situation, as we always do. So we'll talk about those as we get going here. But we're very happy this morning to have Kari Howe with us. Kari, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. I actually don't even know what your official title is with,
I don't either.
with the department, but I know you wear many hats.
Yeah.
And this is a very talented woman. I've had the pleasure of knowing Kari since, well, how long has it been? I think it goes back to like 2001.
Yeah, we're kind of decades now, Michelle.
Yeah, so yeah, it goes back a ways. But anyway, very happy to have Kari Howe with us, sharing information, and she's going to be talking about re-engaging customers and how that looks now with some of the new things that businesses are able to do, and even maybe looking forward a little bit more. So welcome, Kari, and I'll just hand it off to you.
Thanks. Good morning, everyone. I'm in Bemidji, and that's my home. And it's a beautiful sunny day, so I hope it is in northwest Minnesota too, in Thief River. Thanks, Michelle, for inviting me again. I work in the Department of Employment and Economic Development, and as Michelle mentioned, I wear several hats. One is I've worked with business development in northwest Minnesota for quite some time. I'm sure I know some of you on the call. Christine Anderson, you and I have worked together for quite a while as also, and Christine is with our Small Business Development Center out of Crookston. And so I'm hoping to be able to answer many questions, but if I can't, Michelle, Christine, and others on the call certainly chime in. These are ever-changing times, as we all know, and they're challenging. I primarily work with manufacturing and high-tech industries in development. I've worked with DigiKey and Articat, and to name a couple in your community in different ways over the years, and the City of Thief River on infrastructure projects and that type of thing. So a lot of you may not know me in business development in your areas, but I too am a small business owner in Bemidji. My husband and I own Dunn Brothers Coffee, and so we're going through some of the same things and have gone through some of the same things you guys are going through. I also work with 9 state agencies on the state level to help do some coordination, and I've been doing that for many years when it comes to business development and what they need to find in within those state agencies to try to make us not siloed, but one Minnesota, which I sure appreciate our administration under Governor Walz recognizing and saying that we are. All agencies, all constituents, all businesses, we're all here under one Minnesota. So he has been doing a fabulous job of working with state agencies, commissioners, the legislature to figure out this very confusing time. And so slowly opening up and making what he calls it's not a light switch, it's a slow, like turning on the light from dim to bright. It takes time. And so right now, I believe today we're going to talk about how we as small businesses start to open up in the retail industry. In the restaurant and bar industry, in the area that I have a small business with my husband who does most of it or all of it. I'm just a little sidekick to him. We have been able to have our drive-through and our takeout service. Nobody can be in our store, but now we have the retail businesses, thankfully, that are starting to open up. So we'll start talking about that. And the foundation of everything is that we want to be sure that everybody is safe, customers, staff, and that everybody is staying 6 feet apart. And what we're doing at our store now is we've got the plexiglass that's coming in, and our employees are all wearing masks. And now we are putting in the 6 feet apart arrows or things on the floor that show how people can be in our store, but in retail, the 6 feet apart and the wearing of masks is a little different, because in retail, clothing stores, etc., we can't go in those stores as customers. We have to find different ways in retail to market to our customers, because the customers are not allowed in the store. Everything has to be curbside delivery. So we have been working at DEED with the Department of Labor and Industry and the Department of Health and coming up with some things. And Michelle has put up, thank you, Michelle, for businesses returning safely to work, which also includes for workers, as you can see on the left, for workers returning safely to work, because it's all about them as well. And there's a guide, as you can see on the left-hand side too, for business, small businesses who need help. Excuse me. So we have had some state funding, which is in flux right now, but there's been a lot of federal funding that some has been easy to get, some has not, some is still out there, and it seems like it's changing a lot. So the other thing I would like to mention to you is to get on our newsletter. When you go on, I would encourage you guys to go on our website, which is minnesotadeed.gov, and you can see how this you'll get a question whether you want to sign up for our newsletter. And I would highly encourage you to do that if you haven't already, because then you get the latest and greatest through the newsletter, and you can find things out like what's going on with our unemployment insurance, what's new for questions and answers, what's new with executive orders. And the executive order that we're going to talk about today is in the middle in the blue, and it's 2048. Excuse me. So as you can see, if you want to go in there and take a peek, the title does say extending and modifying stay-at-home order, which we all know is going now through the 18th of May right now. And then the continuing temporary closures of bars, restaurants, and other places of public accommodation, and allowing additional workers in certain non-critical sectors. So that's the retail area. So this is a long executive order. If Michelle, you want to scroll down, it just gives you some information, some basic information. There's a lot of yada, yada, yada in here. But if you want to go back, if you want to go in and read it in detail, certainly do. It doesn't hurt to be aligned with this. But as you can see, I've been asked about masks and face coverings and what the governor says. And it's not mandatory, that's number 3, but it is strongly encouraged. And I think any of us who want to be safe, it feels weird to wear them. I think many of us have already been doing that, if not all of us, and going out to do so because they're for our own safety, and mostly even just keeping other people safe. Because as you can see, they're not really known to be protective for the wearer, but they're protective of the next person. So if you want to scroll down a little more, we're talking more retail. I'm not trying to see if I think what we'll do is go back.
Okay.
But it does show, I would, like I say, encourage you guys to all go and look at it. So we can close out of that right now, but now you know where to find it. So it says here, you are not effective May 4th. Customer-facing retail businesses that sell goods are permitted to engage, like I said earlier, in curbside or outside pickup and delivery as long as they do not permit customers in the store, the business, have created a preparedness plan that follows, like I said earlier, we're working with the Minnesota Department of Health and CDC guidelines and meets OSHA standards, and I'll go with Michelle to that website soon, and that the businesses are following the health and safety protocols outlined as we just went into that executive order. And the health screening of the workers is going to be really important, and we'll show that a little bit later. Whoops, I'm having technical difficulty on my end, so not with you guys. I just can't get into my work emails. So other things pop up. So all workers who are able to work from home shall continue to do so, but we're not going to talk about that anymore. So the one thing I want to tell you before we continue on is open at my encouragement, and what I'm hearing is to open at your own pace. We've been closed for a while. Things have changed. Things are going to come back slow. Bringing your staff back, you know, is going to be one of the next steps. Train them in perhaps what you do with your, in fact, we don't even have to go to the Department of Labor and Industry. In your preparedness template, which there's a Word doc that Michelle can open. And this is something that you're going to want to do for yourselves and to share with your staff. And this is going to help you train your staff, because I want to make sure this is the right one. Because this, yep. This goes back to how you're going to talk to your staff about coming back to work, keeping them healthy, keeping customers healthy, and so that they understand what your expectations are of them as they come back to work. Restocking can be interesting because you guys probably all know the supply chains have been interrupted. And so that may be kind of slow in supplying. Many of you might have already your spring stock that suddenly, in summer, that suddenly was not, you weren't able to do anything with. So, you know, that's would be a good way to get the word out. And so to back this up, the reason we're doing such a slow opening is because our governor wants to get this right. It's really critical to get this right. So if everybody can be patient, and I know this has been so hard on so many people, it's exciting to get things going, and then we have to educate everybody onto what we're doing. And doing signage messaging, oh, like I said earlier, at the door, at the counter, letting people know what your needs and expectations are as a business would be really helpful. So no business is required to do this template and instructions, but I think it really is important for everybody to do that. Does anybody have any questions right now? Maybe we could open it up and see.
Sometimes we have a quiet bunch.
That's okay.
And sometimes it takes people a while to unmute themselves. Most people are on mute. So you can also, if you would rather submit your comment or question in the chat, I'll watch that and share those with Kari. But feel free to actually unmute yourself and speak as well. Either one, whatever you feel comfortable doing.
So Kari, this is Christine.
Hi.
Hi. Say one of the questions I'm hearing from businesses and my clients is, as I start to bring people back to work, and you may not know the answer to this, will they automatically lose their unemployment, and will they automatically lose that extra $600 a week they're getting when they, when they first start coming back?
I think when you say when they first start coming back, I think that it depends how many hours they come back for. But if they're asked to come back to work, they need to come back, and then they do give up their unemployment and that extra money per week, unless they can show that they're caring for someone who is sick or has some extenuating type of, or are very in that category of being high risk. You have to really show that you can't come back to work. Otherwise, you need to go back to work. And employees, that's the trick, is some people are making more money on unemployment, but that only goes through July. So it's good to let them know that they have to really show you a good reason why they can't come back. Or I can't remember what that hour is. There's a certain amount of hours where, not everybody's going to be able to bring their employees back full time either right away. So I don't know that hourly answer, but I can find that out.
I know normal unemployment is 32 hours is considered full time. So,
yeah. Oh, yep. From Chet. Chet says, yep, 32 hours. So
yay, I was right.
Oh, Chet's on the line. Yay.
The other question I'm getting from businesses is, I've applied for the PPP or I've applied for EIDL. Now I'm being allowed to open for curbside pickup or delivery. Do I forfeit? What do I do about those funds when they come in?
Well, the PPP is supposed to be for people who have their businesses who have their payroll already there. And the other side of that is they have to maintain that payroll for, I think it's 2 years. So for the PPP people, it shouldn't make that much difference. I have to say that for our business, my husband applied for the EIDL grant, even though we're still open, because you're still losing. I mean, we have lost. And so it's for emergency loans. And so I would say, unless Chet, or anybody else on the line, to check SBA, but I know we've been open and we still need it. We haven't gotten it yet and we were one of the first to apply in March, but I don't know if anybody's gotten theirs yet, because they changed some things around, but
Sure.
A lot of people got the PPP, but the EIDL, I don't know, has anybody gotten an EIDL loan?
I have a couple.
Okay, they're slowly being rolled out.
Yep.
We have confirmation, but yeah, so I would say you're still entitled to both.
Okay.
But I'm not an SBA expert.
No, and they change every day. So.
They do. Now they're focusing on ag, which is great. They need to. Ag needs it too, but heavily. But that is changing with, the meat processing facilities and that kind of thing, which we all need to have in our supply. And it just is extremely critical.
Right.
But I don't know what that means for everything else. So
I just thought those are two really good questions that I get a lot of, and you have a lot of businesses on this call. So I thought that would help to clarify some of that for them.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Kari, I have a quick question. This is Laura Stengrim. I'm the executive director for our Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Hi.
Hi. I had gotten a question from a business owner as well, or kind of more of a concern about liability issues. I don't know if this is something that you'd be able to answer, but should our businesses be concerned about potentially being liable if a customer were to contract COVID-19 in their business?
The retail businesses, you can't go in.
Right, but now with
But the
kind of
bars and
some-
some of the others.
well, and the retail businesses, our city would like them to reopen sooner, and the 18th is coming sort of quickly, so just kind of even a future question.
That's a good question that I guess I can't answer. I would say that, going through this preparedness plan template and instructions, and the plan is available, as you can see, down at the www. I think everybody wants to do that. Michelle, if you want to go down a little bit further. Oh, go back up, dear. I'm sorry. But go back down. It's right there.
I will put this document actually is on our Facebook, our private Facebook group. And I'll also put the links to the pages, the web page that we looked at as well on that group, so people can, see all of the other documents and the links that are on that page.
Because I don't know, and I could be wrong, but I don't know that if the company is doing what they need to do, and they show that they're doing it, and they're doing it, that, and I'm no attorney, but you don't know for sure right now where you've really contracted COVID-19. And every employee is supposed to stay home. There's a whole thing about screening employees and exhibiting signs and symptoms, and that they can't be there. And I know it's tricky, but there need to be wiping things down. This actually might be the time that everybody's the cleanest also. So you really, I don't know if you could prove that. I think an attorney needs to be brought in for that one.
I think this is a conversation that is occurring everywhere, and even at the national level. They're talking about this liability issue. If people, I think I've heard it more so on the front of employers requiring their employees to come back, and then if the employees contract the illness. But I think it goes further than that. But I agree with you, Kari. I think it would be pretty hard to say I got COVID-19 from this going into this business.
Especially if they're wearing masks and they're wiping things down, and they're until contract or contact tracers come out, I don't think you can trace it really for sure. You don't know where that person's been who's saying I got it here.
I think that's one of the purposes of this document, is to help the businesses to prepare and to protect themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then that app like North and South Dakota are using is, I actually downloaded the North Dakota one, and that's pretty interesting because it does trace where people are that have been sick or are sick.
I think it would be a good thing, for a business to actually, to go through this template and fill it out. I mean, go through each part of it and address how you're going to do each of these things. And if I had, if I had a retail business right now, I think I would on my website say that we have a COVID-19 preparedness plan. We're following the recommendations of Governor Tim Walz, and just kind of saying we have done these things, we've addressed these things. So even just a little public statement to that, not that you even have to put your plan out there, but just that you have one and that you have addressed the recommendations that the governor has put forth in this executive order.
I think that's a great idea.
Kari, I have a question on, will Governor Walz soon open up some of the government entities like the Department of Motor Vehicles? I've had a letter down there since February 4th, waiting for a duplicate title, and that's over 3 months, and nobody has opened the letter. They were at the point of opening it when they went home. I can't believe that building is that small that they can't have a few people in there social distancing and doing some of the work. The Motor Vehicle Department has been an absolute nightmare for the past couple years. And this is going on. They haven't done anything for 3 months. Plus, they're rolling out a whole new computer system in September. This is crazy. We need to get that open. And can somebody tell Governor Walz that? I've sent him an email. Of course, I don't get an answer from him. He doesn't.
Can
really
you
know.
send that to me and let me see what I can do?
Sure.
Okay. Do you have my email address?
Yep.
Okay.
What's your email address?
It's, you can see my name, I think, at the top of the screen. It's Kari, spelled Kari,
Yep.
.Howe at state.mn.us.
Okay.
I work with a lot of the agencies, so let me see what I can find out for you.
Okay. Also, Kari, part of the thing I think businesses are looking for, we're supposed to have masks and we're supposed to do all those type of things to protect our customers. You can't buy those things. You can't buy masks. You can't buy wipes. You know, they're made right here in Minnesota, but where are they going? They're not available anywhere.
Yeah, that's what's tricky. In where I live, I've been able to find people making them.
Yes, we've done that, but, you know.
And that's all you really need.
You know.
Kermit, this is
Anybody
Antonio.
making them in Thief River?
Yeah, so this is Antonio at the chamber.
Yep.
We are collecting masks, so handmade masks. So if any business needs masks, just let us know and we can get those to you.
We've got some that we've made, but what if we, you know, we're meeting a customer or something and we want to hand them a mask? You know, it'd be much easier if we could get the disposable paper ones that
Right.
are sanitized and everything and ready to go. And I'm sure for stores, when they open up where people can actually walk into a retail, they're going to need these things, and but they're not available. You know, I mean, My Pillow is making 100,000 masks a week, but nobody sees them.
Kermit, this is Angie.
Yep.
The Riverwalk actually has bulk wipes that you can buy, and they have masks and they have gloves. The
Yep.
Riverwalk restaurant in town.
Well, they don't have any wipes available, and the ones they did have, they're only good for like 3 weeks once you open them. You know, so. You know, they're really not that. It would be nice for us, Angie, to have a packet of those things in our cars. So when we walk
Yeah,
into somebody's
I know.
property, you know, rather than a 5-gallon pail.
Yeah, I found some right away, and I actually gave to all of our agents to keep in their cars, but we're running out of those too. You're right. Yep.
That's just something, you know, and I know, and I'm sure what's happening is the federal and state governments are grabbing these things and stockpiling them, and the general public isn't getting them.
If your wipes dry out, can you just dump some rubbing alcohol into the pack? You know, to kind of re-moisten them, and I don't know, it's just an idea.
I would think you could, although the ones that come from the Riverwalk, I don't think they have alcohol in them. It's something else.
Okay.
So, and that's a product that, not that they dry out, but
Oh, gotcha.
it doesn't work after they've been open for a while.
I know they
They're more
do.
like a business that would use thousands a week.
Yeah.
Michelle?
The ethanol plants in the state were re-permitted to make sanitizer. So I don't know where they're at with that or their supply chains, but
Never seen any.
no, I know it's tough to get here too. Some friends went to Costco in Brainerd a week or so ago, and they asked if they could bring anything back for us, and we said whatever sanitizer you could find, and they brought back a gallon. That's all they could find.
Yeah.
I think Mitch, did you have a comment? Mitch is on the
I
call.
was just going to mention, we do have the sanitizer spray here that you can just spray on a rag and wipe down, but we've been able to get masks in these buckets in at times, but it seems like we get put on the back burner. So we'll get them, and then 2 weeks later, we'll get another little section, but we only get like a small percentage of what we order. But I don't think we have any masks here right now. They went pretty fast when we did get them in. So, but those buckets that Kermit was talking about, they're ammonia based. So if you do put more liquid into them, it really doesn't work very well.
Okay.
Thanks for what you're doing, Mitch.
Yeah, no problem. Trying our best, but.
You know, just to let you guys know that our agency, the governor and other agencies are talking to, you know, many sectors, and those of you from the chamber may be a part of those conversations. I don't know, but they're trying to talk to the, you know, the resort associations, the hospitality associations, the medical associations, dental. It just goes on and on and on because everybody's different. Everybody has uniquenesses within what they need to do and how they need to do it. And so each kind of sector industry is being communicated with on a regular basis to try to figure out how to open up safely, because everybody is very cautious, and it is a learning experience for each and every one of us.
Yeah, I know you probably don't have the answer to this question, so I shouldn't even ask it. But this, you know, this executive order through the 18th, do you have any inkling if that would possibly be extended, or are businesses going to, are the retail going to be able to open up? That's one of my biggest concerns. I hope that they're able to open on the 18th or after the 18th, but
yeah, I have no idea. You know, he is on, there's a press conference, and I don't know if everybody knows this, at 2:00 every day. And there's my husband without a shirt on in my office.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can.
River Falls can.
I thought it was a phone call.
No.
Where are they?
Joys of a home office, right?
Yeah, yeah. My dog's here, and my at least he's wearing not just a towel. TMI. He came in, there's been a bear spotted in our neighborhood, so we appreciate knowing that because we all have dogs. Anyway, I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, what he wants to do and has been working on is doing little openings. So, so he's trying to really weigh the health and safety of the state versus the health and welfare of the economy and business owners. So I don't know what he'll do. I have no idea. 2:00 every day. I listen to it on NPR because I'm in my office, but he is, I think, on WCCO News because he has charts and graphs. So I pay attention, and when I know he's going to say something pretty big, I try to listen every day, but I for sure listen those days.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought, you know, it was probably a question that probably couldn't be answered, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I know we have Antonio on too. Antonio, do you want to share a little bit about the letter and what happened at the council meeting last night?
Hey, everybody. So last night, can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, so last night, 2 letters were presented to our city council. One letter, which was addressed to Governor Walz to advocate to reopen our small businesses, and another letter on behalf of our local businesses here in Thief River to reopen retail businesses. So last night, a resolution was passed, 8-0, unanimously, to urge Governor Walz to allow Thief River Falls businesses to reopen safely. We feel like it's important that it's an urgent matter right now. A lot of our businesses are struggling. We feel that they can do it safely in a safe manner. These guidelines are there to help prepare and help them plan. So we feel confident in their ability to open safely. And at the chamber, we're providing masks to businesses, and we're tracking who has masks and how many they need for their employees. And I think it's going to take a collective effort for us to work together on adopting, a community-wide plan, so we convey to the community that our businesses are safe. Will there be some people that don't feel comfortable going out? Absolutely. But we can't stay closed forever. And I think that we need to start working towards our preparedness plans and adapt to these changes, as we're going to have to do this in the future. I think now is a critical time. Last month we had businesses not sure if they can get through this next coming month. The longer that we wait, we can't afford to see businesses go out of business. Again, if people don't feel safe going to a business, they should stay home. And I think businesses can accommodate for both customers. I think we can find an equal balance in the community to serve those that don't feel comfortable going out, and also those that do, and make sure that the businesses adopt a safe plan for their customers to want to do business, again. So that was one thing with the letter. So we're very proud of the city for passing that resolution. So let's hope that encourages Governor Walz to make change at government level. And I want to thank all the businesses that signed on to support that letter. And then the other exciting thing is the city added another $250,000 to the Thief River Falls emergency microloan program. So that was, it's a new program through the Community Development Finance Agency of Thief River Falls. The loans can be up to $10,000. The deadline for the loan is June 30th. So these will go fast. It may not help everybody, but it's going to help keep doors open and people to continue business while some of these state and federal programs become more available. So the process this time will be a little longer than before, because it has to go through Minnesota DEEP. Before, some of our businesses got the money within 2 days. So it was a very successful turnaround. And that's kind of what the idea was there, was let's get our businesses the money fast. They need it, and they can't wait. So we're very happy about that. The application can be found on Michelle's website and also on the Chamber's website. So if you have any questions about that, let either of us know. Again, they probably will go fast, so make sure you get that filled out if you're looking to access funding. So, and that's all I have.
Yeah, and just I think for everyone on the call to know that Antonio and Laura Stengram and myself just had our first conversation yesterday to kind of lay out the framework for an economic recovery task force. And we are going to be working on that. We know it's, we know that we need to do that, and we know the recovery is going to take some time, but just want you to know that that conversation, it has already started, and we will be working on that, and you will be hearing more about that as time goes forward here.
Mm-hmm. Somebody else looked like Andy from Simply's Andy brought up a concern about people traveling to Grand Forks, and that was a concern of many that have expressed that to me about our businesses remaining closed and people traveling to Grand Forks to buy what they need. I don't think that makes our community any safer. I'm not minimizing the fact that we are we did have a case, so we're aware of that, right? But traveling to other communities only puts our community at risk. I think people are mindful of, the fact that Grand Forks does have more cases than we do. But if we can minimize that, let's let businesses open to do it safely, offer curbside. There needs to be a good balance there. I think we could do that. you know, and like I said, the people that don't feel comfortable, I think we can figure out a strategy for our businesses to adapt where they feel confident. I think that's the thing, is feeling confident to do business again. So,
Yeah.
and we're going to work on that. Nicole, or excuse me, not Nicole, Michelle, Laura, and myself in that recovery plan. That's part of the marketing piece, is figuring out a way for businesses to effectively market. It's going to change now, right? Businesses are going to have to adapt to websites or e-commerce, and just so everybody knows, on the Chamber's website, your business listing can act as a web page, a landing page for information. So you have a password to update that. If you don't know how to do that, let me know and we can get that working for you. So.
All right. So Kari, were there some other things that you wanted to cover this morning, or?
I think that's about the gist of it, except that what Antonio was talking about regarding a different way to market products, because I think there is going to be, I mean, if you can't go in the store, which you can't right now, you have to know what's in that store. And so being able to, what my commissioner calls kind of targeted shopping, because you can't go in and touch and feel. And so as a consumer, so getting information out on Facebook, YouTube, websites, Instagram. I know that there is one company, and I can't remember who it is now off the top of my head, but he's in a learning curve because he's shipping all over the country now, his products. He's from the States someplace, but I can't remember where. So, you know, it's a different way of marketing. And a woman that owns a small boutique in Bemidji that I talked to her, and she does the same thing on Facebook. She shows features, she does sales, and when I go pick up, she's standing away from me. And in fact, it even says if you can put items in the trunk, and so that you can actually see what they have online. And she says it takes time. It does take an extra effort to do that, because you want to kind of market it in a way where it's appealing online with enough information so that people know what they're looking at. So it's going to take a little time to do, but I think that, you know, online shopping has increased about 40% lately. Yeah. So I think that's a wave of the future also. And for those people, Antonio, that you said aren't comfortable going out, you know, that's how they might be shopping more and more into the future. Who knows? Nobody has a crystal ball.
I just brought up Purdy's shoe store Facebook page. This is a great example, and I know others in town have done it. Just a quick little live video, just kind of showing some of his products and talking about them. I think this is a great way to just start re-engaging your customers. It's very personable, and it's just a way of simply showing. You know, if you've got a smartphone. Yeah, I know, it's cute, isn't it? Yeah, so you know, if you've got a smartphone, somebody that can follow you with the phone, you can walk through the store, you can show some of the things you've got, and tell customers how they can get a hold of you if they're interested in something. Yeah, Trevor says, call me, you can have it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is just, you know, this is one way. You know, Facebook is about as easy as it gets, you know. Yeah. and it's very personable. So I think you get that personal connection, but we're going to need to do more and more of these types of things, probably ongoing, but for right now, definitely this is a great way to just start doing that engagement.
Yes. And, you know, take it slowly and think about what people need and how they're living right now, to focus on those. And I see those heels, which I love, and I want them too. But then I'm probably going to get those instead, because it's summer and I'm working from home, you know, so just think of those things too as you go along, perhaps. Boy, he's got a nice inventory.
Yeah, they do.
I need to shop there next time I come to Thief River.
Yeah, this is a little distracting, isn't it? For those of us that are kind of on the fashionista order.
Yeah. Especially shoes.
Yeah. I know Leanne Nelson with Diamonds and Design. She was online a couple days ago too, with kind of showing some of the stuff that they had for Mother's Day. You know, and there's an example of a business. Mother's Day is a big sales time. You know, and for a business like that to not have their doors open, how hard is that? And you know, she has the other issue. So she's going to bring diamond jewelry to the curbside.
Yeah.
There's kind of a safety issue there, you know. So there are a lot of considerations here, you know, for businesses, even with this curbside. But I think if just an encouragement, I guess, to reach out to, you know, your business advisors. You know, Christine Anderson is on the call. Myself, Antonio, if you want somebody to kind of brainstorm with about ideas about how you might, you know, handle some of these things and engage your customers a little bit more right now, we'd be happy to chat with you. So just feel free to reach out to any of us. We'd be happy to talk with you about that. Any last words, Kari, or any last questions that people have?
This is Christine again. Can I just mention that the University of Minnesota Crookston, in partnership with the SBDC, is offering a series of 6 webinars coming up. Today's our first one at 12:15. You can go on Facebook, Northwest Minnesota SBDC, and there should be a link on there to register. Today we're talking about stress and anxiety. That's the #1 thing I hear from businesses right now that they're dealing with and struggling with because of the unknown. Next week is actually, we have a lady coming in to talk about communication and how to communicate with your customers or your clients as you know, that we start going this new direction with needing to shop online more. That's a slow one, isn't it?
Yeah, and it could be a little slower because I'm sharing, you know,
2 things at once. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're free webinars. They start at 12:15 and go to about 1:15. And our whole focus is on the recovery process. So each week is something different. Like I said, this week is stress and anxiety. We have somebody from Northwest Mental Health and that will be talking. And then next week we'll be talking about communicating. We'll go into marketing, just some other ones that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Christine. Those sound great. So again, you can find those if you go to Facebook and type in the search bar Northwest Minnesota Small Business Development Center. That will pop up. So thank you, everybody. Any last comments, questions? We're getting close to 10 here.
Well, it's been great for me to spend time with all of you. I hope to get out and travel the region again, and I'm sure we all feel that way. The last thing that I might add is, and probably you guys are doing this already, so just know that communities are doing this, and I know that. But when you were talking about going to Grand Forks, and that puts everybody at risk because more businesses are open, that you know, to just shop locally and promote, and do maybe business to business promotions, and just pull together as small businesses and say, how can we, what promotions can we do, what discounts to get people in the store, each other's stores, to get people moving around again in our own community. It might be something to think about. And I'm sure you're already doing it, but I just encourage it strongly.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a community effort.
Yeah.
And if we can work together, we can, you know, rising tide lifts all ships. We're going to just all benefit. It's a win-win, a win for the businesses, a win for the community, a win for the economy. So thank you so much, Kari. We really, really appreciate your time
Thank
this
you, Ms.
morning.
Michelle, for the invite.
Yes, and we will probably be tapping you again.
Anytime. I can't answer everything, but the chat's been great. Christine's been great going on webinars too and calls. So Michelle, you've been doing an excellent job bringing people together. So appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and thanks everybody. Have a wonderful day, and we will get through this. We will triumph. So we are looking forward to a good future. Thank you.
Thanks. Stay safe, everyone.